New section. New section. No guilty pleasures. David Grohl says, I don't believe in guilty pleasures. If you fucking like something, like it. About 20 years ago, a trash man in New York City named Nelson Molina started collecting little bits and pieces of art and unique objects that he find discarded along his route. His collection, the Trash Museum, is housed on second floor of the sanitation department garage on East 99th Street, and it now features more than 1,000 painting, posters, photographs, musical instruments, toys, and other ephemera. There is not a big unifying principle to the collection, just what Molina likes. He gets submissions from some of his fellow workers, but he says what goes on the wall and what doesn't. I tell the guys, just bring it in, and I will decide it, and I will decide if I can hang it. At some point, at some point, Molina painted a sign for the museum that reads "Treasure in the Trash" by Nelson Molina. Dumpster diving is one of the jobs of the artist, finding the treasures in the other people's trash, shifting through the debris of our culture, paying attention to stuff that everyone else is ignoring, and taking inspiration from and take inspiration from the stuff that people have tossed aside for whatever reasons. More than 400 years ago, Michael de Montaigne, in his essay on experience, he wrote, in my opinion, the most ordinary things, the most common and familiar, if we could see them in the true light, would turn out to be the grandest miracles and the most marvelous examples. All it takes to uncover hidden gems is a clear eye, an option mind, and a willingness to search for inspiration in places other people are not willing for able to go. Notice: do not dump rubbish or garbage. We all love things that other people think are garbage. You have to have the courage to keep loving your garbage, because what makes us unique is the diversity and breadth of our influences, the unique ways in which we mix up the parts of culture others have deemed high and the low. When you find things genuinely enjoy, don't let anyone else make you feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty about the pleasure you take in the things you enjoy. Celebrate them. How to be exceptional. The first step is to stop trying. Jeff Jarvis said, do what you do best, and link to the rest. When you share your taste and your influences, have the guts to own all of it. Don't give in to the pressure to self edit too much. Don't be the lame guys at the record store arguing over who's the more authentic punk rock band. Don't try to be hip or cool. Being open and honest about what you like is the best way to connect with people who like the things too. New section. Credit is always due. If you share the work of others, it is your duty to make sure that the creators of the work get proper credit. crediting work in our copy and paste age of reblogs and retweets can seem like a fertile effort, but it's worth it, and it is the right thing to do. You should always share the work of others as if it were your own, treating it with respect and care. When we make the case for crediting our sources, most of us concentrate on the original creator of the work. But that's only half of the story. If you fail to properly attribute work that you share, you not only rob the person who made it, you rob all the people you have shared it with. Without attribution, they have no way to dig deeper into the work or find more of it. So, what makes for great attribution? Attribution is all about providing context for what you are sharing, what the work is, who made it, how they made it, when and where it was made, why you are sharing it, why people should care about it, and where people can see more work like it. Attribution is about putting little museum labels next to the stuff you share. Another form of attribution that we often neglect is where we found the work that we're sharing. It is always good practice to give a shout out to people who have helped you stumble into good work, and also leave a breadcrumb trail that people you are sharing with can follow back to the sources of your inspiration. I have come across so many interesting people online by following via an HD. Attribution: what it is, who made it, and when, why we should care, how you found it, where we can find more things like it. Via following via and h/h/h/d links I would have been robbed of a lot of those connections if it weren't for the generosity and meticulous attribution of many of people I follow online. The most important form of attribution is a hyperlink pointing back to the website of the creator of the work. This pins people who came across the work back to the original source. The number one rule of the internet: people are lazy. If you don't include a link, or no one can click it. And attribution without a link online boards on uses 99.9% of the people are not going to bother googling someone's name. All of this all of this all of this raises a question: what if you want to share something, and you don't know where it come from, or who made it? The answer: don't share things you can probably credit. Find the right credit, or don't share. Now we come into chapter 5. Tell good stories. Section 1. Work doesn't speak for itself. What doesn't speak for itself. Close your eyes and imagine you are a wealthy collector who's just entered a gallery in an art museum. On the wall facing you there are two gigantic canvases, each more than 10 feet tall. Both paintings depict a harbor of sunset from across room. They look identical. They look identical. The same shapes, the same reflections on the water, the same sun at the same stage of setting. You go in for a closer look. You can find a label or a museum tag anywhere. You become obsessed with the paintings, which you nickname painting A and painting B. You spend an hour going back and forth from canvas to canvas, canvas to can, canvas to canvas, comparing brush strokes. You can detect a single difference. Just as just as just as you go to fetch a museum guard or someone who can shed light on this mysterious twin masterpieces. The head curator of the museum walks in. You eagerly inquire as to the origins of your new obsessions. The curator tells you that painting A was painted in 17th century by a Dutch master. And what of painting B, you ask. Yes, painting B, the curator says. That's a forgery. It was copied last week by a graduate student at the local art college. Look up at the paintings. Which canvas looks better now? Which one do you want to take home? Art forgery is a strange phenomenon. You might think that the pleasure you get from a painting depends on its color and its shape and its pattern, says psychological professor Paul Bloom. And if that's right, it shouldn't matter whether it is an original and forgery. But our brains don't work that way. When shown an object or given a food or shown a face, people's assessment of it, how much they like it, how valuable it is deeply affected by what you tell them about it. In their book Significant Objects, Joshua Glenn and Rob Walker recount an experiment in which they set out to test this hypothesis. Stories are such a powerful driver of emotional value that their effect any given object's subjective value can actually be measured objectively. First first they first they went out they went to thrift stores, flea markets, and bought a bunch of insignificant objects for an average of 1.25 bucks an object. Then they hired a bunch of writers, both famous and non-famous, to invent a story that attributes significance to each object. Finally, they listened each object on eBay, using the invented story as the object's description, and whatever they had originally paid for the object as the auction starting price. By the ending of experiment, they had sold 1.200 128.74 worth of trinkets for 3,612.51 dollars. Come on, almost 2.5 times they profit from that by words. And author also said that words matters. Artists love to trot out that tried line. My work speaks for itself. But the truth is, our work doesn't speak for itself. Human beings want to know where things came from, how they were made, and who made them. The stories you can tell about the work you do have a huge effect on how people feel and on how people feel and what they understand about your work, and how people feel and what they understand about your work effects, how they value it. Why should we this is the quotation from artist Rachel Sussman, that why should we describe the frustrations and turning points in the lab, or all the hours of groundwork and failed images that precede the final outcomes. Because 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 rarified exceptions aside, our audience is a human one, and humans want to connect. People's stories can make the complex more tangible, spark spark associations, and offer entry into and offer entry into things that might otherwise leave once cold. Pictures can say whatever we want to say them. That one triangle, you can say mountain. You same at the same time, you say this as a shark fin, or a step or a step or a stalagmite wizard, or a wizard head, or a tortilla chip, or your caption is here you go, or like a pyramid of Giza. Okay, your work doesn't exist in a vacuum. Whether you realize it or not, you are already telling a story about your work. Every email you send, every text, every conversation, every blog comment, every tweet, every photo, every video, they are all bits and pieces of a multimedia narrative you are constantly constructing. If you want to be more effective when sharing yourself and your work, you need to become a better storyteller. You need to know what a good story is and how to tell one. John Le Carrier said that the cat sat on a mat is not a story. The cat sat on a dog's mat is a story. Structure is everything. System is everything. George Abbott quoted, in the first act, you get your hero up a tree. The second act, you throw a rock at him. For the third act, you let him down. Dan Harmer's story circle. If I show that, this is really interesting. From number one, a character is in a zone of comfort. Then second, but they want something. Then third, they enter an unfamiliar situation. Four, adapt to it. Five, get what they wanted. Six, pay a heavy price for it. Seven, return to their familiar situation. Eight, having changed. I need to master it, inshallah. The most important part of a story is its structure. A good story structure is sturdy, and logical. Unfortunately, most of life is messy, uncertain, and illogical. A lot of our raw experiences don't fit neatly into traditional fairy tale or a Hollywood plot. Sometimes we have to do a lot of cropping and editing to fit our lives into something that resembles a story. If you study the structure of stories, you start to see how they work, and once you know how they work, you can then start stealing story structures and filling them in with your characters, situations and setting from your own life. Simple. I should do it. I should apply this method. So delivered by author Leon. Okay. Most most sto- most story ch- most story ch- most story ch- most story structures most structures most most story structures can be traced back to myths and fairy tales. Emma Coates, a former storyboard artist at Pixar, outlined the basic structure of a fairy tale as a kind of MATLAB that you can fill in with your own elements. Once upon a time, there was fill in the gap, every day gap, one day gap, because of that, until finally that. Okay, pick your favorite story and try to fill in the blanks. It is striking how often it works. Philosopher Aristotle said a story had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Author John Gardner said the basic plot of nearly all stories is like this. He quoted, a character wants something, goes after it despite opposition, perhaps including his own doubts, and so arrives at a win, lose or draw. A win, lose or draw. Like I like Gardner's plot formula because it is also the shape of most creative work. You get a great idea. You go through the hard work of executing the idea, and then you release the idea out into the world, coming to a win, loss or a draw. Sometimes the idea succeeds, sometimes it fails, and more often than not, it does not nothing at all. This simple formula can be applied to almost any type of work project. Any type of work project. There is the initial problem, the work done to solve the problem, and the solution. Of course, of course, when you are in the middle of a story, as most of us in life are, you don't know if it's story at all, because you don't know how far into it you are, and you don't know how it's going to end. Fortunately, there was a way to tell open-ended story where we acknowledge that we are smack dab in the middle of a story, and we don't know how it all ends. Every client presentation, every personal essay, every cover letter, every fundraising request, they are all pitches. They are stories with the ending chopped off. A good pitch is set up in three acts. The first act is the past, the second act is the present, and obviously the third act is the future. The first act is where you have been, what you want, how you came to want, and what you have done so far to get it. The second act is where you are now in your work, and how you have worked hard and used up most of your resources. The third act is where you are going, and how exactly the person you are pitching can be helped you get there. Like choose your own advantage group. This story effectively turns your listener into the hero who gets the decide how it ends. Whether you telling a finished or unfinished story, always keep your audience in mind. Speak speak to them directly in plain language. Value their time. Be brief. Learn to speak. Learn to write. Use spell check. You have never Never keeping it real with your lack of proofreading and pronunciation. You are keeping it unintelligible. Intelligible. Everybody loves everybody loves a good story, but good storytelling doesn't come easy to everybody. It is skill, and it is a skill that takes a lifetime to master. So study great stories, and then go find some of your own. Your stories will get better the more you tell them. Okay, to show two graphs, I don't show. Sorry, I I forgot to show. I planned for it last. Kurt Vonnegut story graph. This is the high is good fortune and the low is bad fortune. Beginning. This is the beginning to end. This is a normal plain story if you say it. And this is the story of man in a hole. This is the story bad fortune, bad fortune, good, bad, and a good ending. This is the Cinderella. And the bad fortune is going to more bad is Kafka's metamorphosis. Okay, let's go. Sorry, I have another graph. Gustav Gustav Freytag's pyramid. This is not Giza's. Gustav Freytag's pyramid. If I shown that, this is, if my pointer will be shown in the screen, that explosion, explosion inciting incident, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution, denominate. The 5 act structure. Woo! I love that. Kanye West said, Kanye West quote. This is Kanye West quote. You got to make your case. You got to freaking make your case. Okay. So we jumped into the next section. Talk about yourself at parties. Okay, we have all been there. You're standing at a party, enjoying your drink, and when a stranger approaches, introduce herself, and ask the direct question. So what you do? If you happen to be a doctor or a teacher or a lawyer or an engineer or a plumber, congratulations. You may proceed with caution. You may proceed without caution. For the rest of us, we're going to need practice our answers. Oh, sorry. uh, I become a bit of scared my this become fell out from uh, fell fell from my table. I'm really bad at English. I recognize that. Yes. Okay. But inshallah, I have become the most fluent person in the world. Can we get the message? Okay. Artists have it the worst. If you answer, I'm a writer, for example, there was very good chance that next question will be, oh, have you published anything, which is actually a veiled way of asking, do you make any money off that? That disgusting. The way to get over the awkwardness in the situation is to stop treating as interrogations, and start treating them as opportunity to connect with somebody by honesty and humbly explaining what it is that you do. You should be able to explain your work to a kindergartner, a senior citizen, and everybody in between. Of course, you always need to keep your alliance in mind. The way you explain your work to your buddies, to your buddies at the bar is not the way you explain your work to your mother. Just because just because you're telling just because you're trying to tell a good story about yourself does not mean you have in inventing fiction. Stick to non-fiction. Tell the truth and tell it with dignity and self-respect. If you are a student, say you are a student. If you work a day job, say you work a day job. For years I said by day I am a web designer and by night I am a and I write poetry. If you have a weird hybrid job, say something like I am a writer who draws. I stole that bio from the cartoonist Saul Steinberg. I'm a writer who draws. Painter and writer together. If you are unemployed, so say so and mention what kind of work you are looking for. If you are employed but you don't feel good about your job title, ask yourself why that is. Maybe you are in the wrong line of work, or maybe you are not doing the work you are supposed to be doing. There are many there were many years where answering "I am a writer" felt wrong because I wasn't actually writing. Remembering what the author George Orwell wrote, autobiography autobiography is only to be trusted when it reveals something disgraceful. Have empathy for your audience and anticipate blank stares. Be ready for more questions. Answer plenty and politely. All the same principles apply when you start writing your bios are not the place to practice your creativity. We all like to think we're more complex than a two sentence explanation, but a two sentence explanation is usually is usually the word wants from us. Keep it short and sweet. Strike all the adjectives. Strike all the adjectives from your bio. If you take photos, you are not an aspiring photographer, and you are not an amazing photographer either. You are a photographer. Don't get cute. Don't brag. Just state the facts. One more thing. Unless you are actually a ninja, a guru, or a rock star, don't even use any of those terms in your bio ever. Alison Bechdel quoted, whatever we say, we're always talking about ourselves. Damn. So with that, we reached till 109th page of this book. We are more sorry. We are more through more. We have to go through. We have to go through more 100 pages to end this show your work book. And inshallah, I will read it up again and get out gist gist ideas that I should implement in my I should and I will implement it in my work, inshallah, to get more better, to get more great. And that is it. I am tired. I'm feeling tired. I should go right now, and I and I will and I will need I will not need I will necessary to structure my day from next day, because and first day of next month my admission test. So that is it. 1 a 9th of July 2026. Till then, see you again, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.